Hello, and welcome back to the msuwma podcast. My name is Jacob Swartz, and I'll be your host today, and we are interviewing Mr. Paul Joyaux. Mr. Joyaux is a partner and senior wealth manager at Curi RMB, and he's also an MSU alumni. He'll be sharing with us today what it looks like to work in a smaller office as well as a corporate office, and also what the end of year looks like for financial advisors. Thank you, and I hope you enjoy. Mr. Joyaux, how's it going?
Good. How are you, Jacob?
I'm doing really good. So kind of today, all I really want to cover is how it works, like living in a big city and then also a smaller town, and how it is working in different offices of a corporate office and also kind of your smaller office in St. Joe.
Sure, I'd be happy to go through that.
So before we start, I just kind of want to get a base of who you are. So could you explain to me like the steps you've taken to get where you are in your career, and kind of where you're at right now?
Yeah, so I actually graduated from Michigan State, I think in 1984. That it was a long time ago, obviously.
Okay.
Um, and I graduated with a degree in economics, like most kids, children, younger students. I really had no idea what I wanted to do.
Hmm.
Um, I ended up getting into the computer business, selling original IBM PC and Macintosh products. And then eventually I got into the institutional side of the finance business. And then finally, in the last, I guess, 25 years, I started in, the high net worth family office, retail space working with individuals. It would have been great had I just started doing what I was doing now, by the way,
For sure.
like most younger individuals, there are a lot of different stops where I learned, what I like, what I don't like, etc.
Oh, for sure. So, like, what are some of kind of your future outlooks on your career and then also R&B Capitals?
Great question. So RMB, our company, Curi RMB, is doing incredibly well. We have about 180 employees, 13 locations around the country. We want to continue to grow. And I'm at a point where, although I'm still going to work probably another 10 years, I'm more focused on helping the team in Michigan, helping my coworkers, helping all the people that are growing in our industry and specifically in our company, helping
For
them
sure.
get to wherever they want to be. So I look back and I think my career is great.
Hmm.
I'm very happy with what we've been able to accomplish. I'm happy with the clients that I work with. Now it's more about getting the next generation up and watching the company continue to grow. When I
Yeah.
started with Curi R&B, I think I was the third or fourth employee.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah, we didn't think we'd be here, by the way.
Yeah.
We
Came a
didn't,
long
we
way.
didn't think we were gonna ever get to be this big of an organization.
Yeah. Well, you guys are doing great.
Thank you.
Um, so kind of asking more for like what students should be looking for. What has Curio R&B offered you or provided that's kept you around for this time now?
Uh, I would say two or three things. One is it's really an excellent platform to work with clients. In order to really, really be successful and to grow your business, you have to have amazing client relationships. Your
Hmm.
clients become part of your journey, so to speak. They become part of your success.
Yeah.
So you have to have an amazing platform with very few conflicts of interest, a platform where you're able to do all the things you'd want to do to help your clients. So that I think is
Yeah.
first and foremost. It's the platform. Um, it's a place where I tend to work a lot and I like to
Hmm.
work a lot. So it's a place where hard work has paid off, so to speak.
Yeah.
Um, it's also a place where if you don't want to work, not everybody has to work, the hours that we work. So I would say those are kind of the two key things. Also, I've worked with these people for 25 years. They're all my, work wives and work husbands, so to speak.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
So building those relationships, keeping them lasting, and really just enjoying who you're around is a big part of it
yeah,
for you.
yeah, and it's and it's not just the clients that I've been with for 25
Mhm.
years. It's also the coworkers and the
Oh,
other
yeah.
partners in the organization. So I don't think I'd ever want to lose that. You know, I don't
Yeah.
think I'd ever want to go somewhere else and have to start over and rebuild that. It just wouldn't be something I'd be interested in.
Yeah. So looking more kind of into your career, from what I know, you work in St. Joe, sometimes, and also you work at the head office in Chicago at times as well. What are some of the bigger differences you see between a smaller office like the one in St. Joe and then your corporate in Chicago?
I'm not sure how to answer that question. The Chicago office is maybe 100 people, but ever since COVID, there are typically only 25 to 75 there a day.
Mhm.
The Chicago office has all of the other organizational structures within our company. So they have the asset management and investment team,
Okay.
they have the finance team, they have all the executive leadership, most of the executive leadership, the satellite offices like St. Joe, and there are satellite offices all around the country. The satellite offices tend to be only client facing.
Okay.
Um, so maybe one of the differences is the satellite office tends to be the newer, younger employees that are kind of
Mhm.
growing through the organization, and headquarters tends to have the 4 or 5 people that originally started the company that I've known the longest.
Okay.
There's not much other difference. I mean, when people, everybody works real hard. Uh, the Chicago office, I think you've been there, is
Yeah.
amazing. I mean, it's a really nice
It's
office, and you
beautiful.
need
Yeah.
more. Um, yeah, I would say that. And these are things that you wouldn't think about, but I go to St. Joe, I drive there, and I never get out of the car, and I walk out of the car and I walk into the office. In
Yeah.
Chicago, you have to take the train into the city, and then you walk from the train station so it's just a whole different
Commuting and
whole different
oh yeah,
commute, whole different process, if you will.
for sure. And then so you mentioned kind of seeing differences in almost resources and people that are in each office. Do you want to kind of explain to me what the different resources might be between each office?
Sure. So again, the satellite offices tend to be client facing. It's the
Mhm.
wealth management side of our business where we're, doing everything a wealth advisor does: estate planning, tax planning, obviously managing your money, constructing the portfolios, doing reviews, doing all that asset allocation, asset location.
Yep.
Uh, the Chicago office is where more of all the research is done out of, the portfolio management. And if it's not internal strategies that we're using, it's also the external manager selection. So,
Okay.
one of the things that's a little different about RMB is because we manage most of our own funds. So a
Mhm.
client of mine that might have 10 or 20 million, 70% of what they own is our strategies. And then a little bit, some of the outside stuff is things like private equity, hedge funds, private real estate. Um, what's different about that is most firms aren't really set up that way. Most firms, the advisor, me or the advisor team, is
Yeah.
responsible for finding the asset managers, finding the portfolios. So, what I like about our company, but what is also is a differentiator is the satellite offices are almost solely focused on clients. We're not
Mm.
spending our time looking for investments, switching managers, et cetera, et cetera. We take the tools that the Chicago office has created, build portfolios, and just implement them. So it's just a very client focused. At
Yeah.
least satellite offices tend to be very, very client focused
For
in
sure.
that regard, which is again different from the main office.
Yeah. And then at the main office, do you guys have clients ever come into there as well?
Oh, sure.
Okay.
We have obviously we have lots of clients. Now, having said that, and all the offices have meeting rooms and client
Mhm.
engagement rooms. Um, it's not, when you think about the St. Joe office, we have two different meeting rooms. We can have 5 to 10 meetings there today. That's kind of typical.
Hmm.
In Chicago, remember when clients, first of all, not a lot of clients are actually in the loop. They're all in the
Yeah.
suburbs. So even though we have client meetings and it's a really nice facility, it seems like we tend to have fewer meetings, especially I would say due to COVID.
Okay. Understandable. I mean, also it's a commute just to get around the city and all of that, so it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, and more and more, a lot of our business now is remote.
Hmm.
But having said that, if you're starting out in this business, it is always better to be face to face. It's
Oh
one
yeah.
thing if you've met face to face, you've been with a client for 4 or 5 years, and then the client moves, and now you're a little more remote, so to speak.
Hmm.
Um, uh, but certainly maybe especially in Chicago, maybe the in-person meetings have declined just because we have Zoom, we have WebEx.
Oh yeah.
This is stuff nobody used 5 years ago.
Yeah. A lot more accessible to just meet over the phone and also convenient.
Yes,
All
yes.
right.
Um,
Um.
by the way, the
So.
other thing is, I would say half my clients are in St. Joe, the
Mhm.
other or in Michigan, Southwest Michigan, Grand Rapids, Ann Arbor. The other half of my clients are really all around the country. So,
Oh, wow. Okay.
in a lot of cases, I'm in Seattle, I'm in North Carolina.
Mm.
This winter I'll take a trip to see 20 to 40 clients in Florida.
Okay. Wow.
Um, yeah, a lot of clients are just visiting Florida, but then again, a lot of them are permanently there. So I'll spend a couple weeks visiting them in Florida.
Very cool. One of the perks
Yeah.
of the job.
I mean, it's a great lifestyle, right?
Oh
I
yeah.
mean, I do this because I really enjoy it and I get a lot of satisfaction out of what I do. And I'm also traveling with clients. So it's really an amazing lifestyle.
Yeah. For sure. And then kind of changing topics. I know end of the year is a really busy time for a lot of advisors in the field. What has your end of year kind of looked like more recently, and how do you prepare for that?
So there are kind of 4 or 5 key things we're doing. One is, and it tends to be the same every year with one
Hmm.
exception, maybe. You're trying to do tax loss harvesting or book tax losses, right? Because if the portfolio has gains, you would clients don't really like to pay taxes. It would be great if
Yeah.
you can find losses to offset gains. So tax loss harvesting, charitable giving, either directly to a charity of an appreciated security or charitable to giving to a donor advised fund. So that's done. There's lots of year end, like move money to my kids, do a Roth IRA, regular IRA. Oddly enough, there's lots of enrollment. So lots of our clients are currently employed. They have to re-enroll in their company plans. So not
Okay.
necessarily 401k, but
Mm.
non-qualified deferred comp and all kinds of other corporate executive plans.
Yeah.
That's typically done November, December. And then lastly, there is a lot of estate planning. And the last 2 years, there are lots of conversations tied to the estate exemption going from roughly 14 million each or 28 million total. That's going
Hmm.
to decrease to 7 million each or 14 million total. So
Okay.
there is, believe it or not, most of my conversations in the last couple of years for the larger clients tends to all be about estate planning and what, if anything, can or should we do to try to move assets
Yeah.
to future generations, in a tax efficient fashion.
For sure. And for you, with these bigger times kind of the year, does that change your hours a lot, or are you still kind of consistent in this time?
That's part of what I think I like about my job. Once you're, and it takes a while, I think, to become, uh, uh, I hate to use the word successful advisor, but it just takes a while to grow into this career. But once
Yeah.
you're there, you can work 3 days a week and then you don't have anything to do and you can travel on the fourth or fifth day. But then
Yeah.
when it is busy, you're working Saturday, Sunday, and you're working, late into the evening. Tomorrow I'll go to Michigan, so I'll get up in Chicago at 5 a.m.
Mm.
and my last meeting is 6 p.m. with a dinner, and I'll probably drive home back to Chicago, and I'll get home at 9 p.m.
Wow.
That's not, that's kind of a 1 day a week thing,
Mhm.
ish. Uh, and again, because it's year end, there'll probably be lots of things that I need to do to help support the team. So remember, in a business like this, uh, there's an immense amount that the team does to help clients,
Yeah.
right? Whether it's mailing checks, tax loss, giving strategies. I might say these are the 5 securities that we have to book a tax loss on, but they're the
Mhm.
ones that have to do it. So there is a lot of my time just ends up being support for the team,
Yeah.
that I'm helping the team players with, even though it's for my clients, but that everybody always has questions. So the
Okay.
advisors just kind of have to become very available for the rest of the team to make sure we get everything done at the end of the year that has to be done.
Yeah, so kind of summing that up, once you establish yourself in the field, it's kind of a day by day thing. You can have easier days, and also you're going to have these grind days where you have more of the pressure on you for dealing with clients and all of that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
that's a fair statement, but
Yeah.
it's, again, if you didn't like this, you wouldn't be here in 10 or 20 years.
Oh yeah.
So on the one hand, it's a grind, but on the other hand, the greatest thing that we do is sit down and talk to clients. And
Mhm.
if you find, you're trying to figure out what you want to do, you find that you don't really enjoy sitting across the table and having dinner or meeting with clients, then you shouldn't be client facing. Go into
Yeah.
portfolio management, security selection, find something else. There are all kinds of things in our industry to do,
Yeah.
but the individuals that excel with clients are the ones that get the most enjoyment out of it. And really importantly, the clients see that, right?
Mhm.
They see it's 6 p.m. and all you want to do is go home. They can
Mhm.
tell. Or they see it's 6 p.m. and you're willing to have dessert and have another drink and spend time with them. So
Yeah.
um, that's part of why clients are part of this journey with you, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Sustaining those relationships and all of that.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So last couple of questions are going to be kind of quick fire questions for you.
Sure.
Um, so for the first one, it would be if you could tell your younger financial self anything, what would you tell yourself?
I would have, so I was 35 when I got into this space.
Yeah.
I would have been a lot better off had I got into it when I was 20 or
Hmm.
21, but the problem is, Jacob, most young people, and there are definitely exceptions, most young people don't really know what they want to do. It takes time. You have to
Hmm.
have 4 or 5 jobs to figure out that, this sucks, I don't want to do it, or I really like that. So I would have said figure it out sooner, but you know,
Yeah. We all have a
nobody
path.
does, right?
Oh yeah.
Spend
Yep.
less time in Lincoln Park at the bars. I probably should have done that as well.
Yeah. Good tip for me, huh?
Yeah.
And then last one, what's something students can do to position themselves in successful careers and positions like yours?
Ask lots of questions. Make it, do a number of things. First of all, show up. There are
Hmm.
lots of people, and I know this is a generational thing. There are lots of people my age that still think people should be in the office pretty regularly.
Okay.
Um, you show up in the office, people notice. Your senior leadership will notice that. So show up, number one. Number two, uh, ask lots of questions. You know, tell someone that you like what you're doing, you want to learn
Yeah.
more, you want to be better, and ask them for advice. right? Everybody loves giving advice, right? If you ask me for advice, I could talk for 3 hours about here's what you should do. So
Yeah.
ask people, show interest, and show effort, perseverance, determination. Those are the things that matter. Those are the things that will help you exceed, and just show up to work.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you so much for all the information that you shared. And it was nice having you back on the podcast. I know we've had you before, and I'm sure we'll have you again.
All right. Well, it's my pleasure. Go green.
Go
I
White.
guess football's over. So what is it now? Basketball, right? Basketball
Basketball
season
and hockey. We're number one in the
and
nation
hockey. I
right now.
forgot. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
So
Well, hopefully I'll be in town and watch a basketball game soon.
love to see you.
Okay, Jacob. Thanks so much.
Yep. Thanks so much. Bye.
Bye-bye.
If you enjoyed the discussion, please like and share the podcast on Apple and Spotify. The Spartan Journal podcast is part of Michigan State University's Wealth Management Association, a student organization whose goal is to inspire the next generation of financial advisors. The Spartan Journal news team releases a newsletter every Monday morning comprised of financial literacy and the week's market updates. Feel free to follow us on social media at msuwma and check out our website at msuwma.com. Anything heard on either the MSUWMA or Spartan Journal podcasts is for educational purposes only and should not be considered as investment advice.